All right, so I bet back in the days, like, the days you've had, oh yeah, KCF, know it, love it, use it, turning division into multiplication. So if we had divided by 5, you could also turn any division, even if it's not by a fraction. So quick review. Now you could also turn multiplication of a fraction into division of a whole number. Like, you can always keep, change, flip. If we're flipping division to multiplication or multiplication to division. And guys, keep, change, flip actually kind of works with subtraction and addition also. But instead of like flip, you make it the opposite. So it's keep, change, opposite, really. So if you need references back to keep, change, flip, now this is all recorded in my class video from today. Yep, 1 cake divided by 22 people really means that cake is going to multiply into 1/22. Emery, stop doing your homework. So, here's our first task. Now, I'm going to say, instead of Mr. Garcia, you guys can go ahead and think about me, because I am constantly doing woodworking. Even just last night, putting up a new shelf in my garage. I should take some pictures of my garage for you guys, so you, believe me that I literally live this. I go to Home Depot, and I buy a 16-foot-long board. Because it's cheaper if you buy a big board and cut it down yourself than if you buy a bunch of little boards. It's just like somebody else has done the work for you versus I take it home and I do the work. So on your paper, if you want really good labeling, let's label this 98. You don't really need 3-98, but you can if you want. We're going to start with 16 feet. And what we need to do is divide this, because we're going to cut into pieces, right? We're going to divide this into 9-inch pieces. So what we have, what's our board length?
16 feet.
16 feet. And we're going to divide this into pieces that are 9 inch. Oh, crap.
Oh, man, this is going to be hard. What?
Oh, man, we got 2 different labels. I want you and your teammate to dive into this and see what do you think you could do to deal with the fact that you have 2 different labels here, because I'm pretty convinced I'm going to get more than one board out of my original 16-foot long. Let's call it, this is our plank, and then we're going to cut it into boards. Right? This is our plank. We bought a 16-foot long plank. We're going to cut it into 9-inch long boards. You guys figure out what to do here. If you need to look at a ruler, if you need to look at whatever, I'll give you 2 minutes to talk with each other, then I'm using random cards to ask for suggestions.
So, how many inches are a foot? 12, right? So we would get 1 out of 1 inch. Correct. How many times are you going to go back? Okay. So I wrote 12 inches. I mean, 12 inches equals 1. 16 divided by 12
No.
times 16.
You don't
So,
need one.
First, we're going to need...
Calculator, you don't need one.
You don't need one.
Better for your brain if you don't use it. That's your one thing, yeah. Okay, just making sure. Somebody was in here this morning.
Okay, so first we need to do 16 divided by 12, I think. Or no, we need to 16 times 12. Okay.
Talk with somebody else. You're back here on your own, but that doesn't mean you can't talk to your classmates. I don't want you asking me first. Ask your classmates first. Can we talk to each other at all?
Okay,
Maybe we're a little late, but let's dive into this. We got 16 feet divided into 9-inch boards.
16 times 12
How many did you get?
equals. I'm going to do a little.
Well, how many boards did you get?
I'm gonna
Do the division? Ooh, that sounds like somebody uses calculators. We can, but we don't need to. And also, is a partial board gonna do anything for me? Guys, I have a confession. My name is Micah Hudson.
Yep.
And I have an addiction to hoarding scrap lumber. This is me. But the first step is admitting, right, I have an addiction to hoarding scrap lumber. My wife will, if I show her this video, sometimes I show her class videos, and she is like, yeah, no, you're right. You are. Like, so my scrap that I'm going to have left over, my fraction, my decimal, like, that doesn't really matter. I want to know how many total pieces we can get here. Donna, what'd you guys do first?
Well, like, first we want to figure out how many times 9 can go into 16, which you can only go into 1 time.
Now, I agree, but I feel like 16 feet, 9 inches. I feel like just getting an answer just over 1 doesn't feel right. Do you want to pass it off to somebody else?
Yeah.
Jack, what'd you guys do first?
We did 16 feet, and then we changed the feet and made an inch.
Guys, you can't work in 2 different labels. This is also why the American system of measurement is silly. We got to convert one of these labels. Now, we can convert inches into feet, but I feel like a lot of people that I heard were converting feet into inches. How many inches are in a foot? Anybody?
11. Oh, 12.
Emery.
I literally have it written down.
12 inches equals 1 foot.
I do. I remember it says
Guys,
how.
she said it like 3 times earlier. Mr. Bluevall, confirmation, 12 inches in a foot? Yeah. All right. Just making sure that everyone's feet are the same, right?
Yep.
How many feet in the yard?
Like 3.
Depends how big your yard is. Now, wait, Mr. Bluevall, do you know what's in a mile? Can anyone tell Mr. Bluevall how many tomatoes are in a mile?
Wait,
How
I know.
many tomatoes are in a mile?
8. Oh,
There are 5 tomatoes in a mile. 5 tomato. There are 5 tomatoes in a mile.
Very good. I like that.
5
I
tomatoes.
bet I never forget that now.
Boom. That's what it's about.
This is called learning at its finest, even when you're old.
Right? 5 tomatoes in a mile. All right. So, guys, hey, I heard some debate about do we multiply, do we divide, because we need to convert 16 feet. If every foot, every single one of these is 12 inches, what we need to do is 16 times 12. And that got us, Lane, I think you had it, 100 something. Somebody double check that just because sometimes we type stuff in wrong. All right, so now that's in inches, and our 9 is in inches. Okay, well, if I'm not allowed to use a calculator because Hudson was walking around being annoying about that, we could set up 192 divided by... Hey, guys, let's write this long division just to make sure that we know how to do it. I'm not going to ask you to do this probably ever again because I hate long division. With a passion, it like hurts me to even write this down right now. But, we got to remember how to do this. So 9 goes into 1. No, it doesn't. 9 goes into 19 twice.
Yeah,
Minus the
Or taught us,
18.
Like, this wacky thing about, like, Rover, dog, mom.
9 goes into 12 once. And I'm going to try to fight my addiction and say, I don't care about the scrap wood. It's going in the garbage. Because I would like to stop dividing here and, like, because otherwise I kind of get stuck. We end up stuck in a continuous division, actually. Now, there's a better way. There's a better way. There's a gooder way. Rewrite this. 16 feet divided by 9 inches. But we said there are 12 inches in a foot. So my question is, this 9 inches, how much of a foot is it? Okay, well, 9 out of 12, how much of a foot is it? Can 9/12 reduce
Yes.
to what?
3/4.
Yeah, because this can divide by 3, this can divide by 3. So, guys, 9 inches, if you think about 9 inches, I can't even fit on, I got to pull my camera back, and my ruler's broken, but 9 inches is 3/4 of a foot. Right, so 9 inches is 3/4 of a foot. So let's replace this because middle schoolers like to bend things. 16 divided by 3/4. Okay, well, when we have division of a fraction, Matt, what did we learn last week about dividing fractions? We can not go to KFC, but we can...
Keep change flip.
Thanks, Matt. You threw your voice all over the room.
My bad.
Keep, change, flip. Then multiply. Keep, change, flip, then multiply. Now remember, the 16 we should probably turn into a fraction to make our life easier. We're changing division to what? Multiplication. And we're flipping the fraction. Ooh. 16 times 4, break it up. Guys, what's 10 times 4? 40. So I'm going to jot that down off to the side. What's 6 times 4? 64 over 3. Guys, how many times does 3 fit into 60? 20. And then one more, because the 4. So guys, this feels like it was easier than this long division. So 21, and okay, 1/3. But I'm going to throw that away because I need to get over my addiction to scrap wood.
No, you don't.
I mean, my wife would beg to differ. Our garage is filling up.
Oh.
But wait! There's more! If you call now, we'll throw in the additional decimal division package that shows you how to do this problem if it was a decimal.
Why would you do that to me?
All right, our 3/4. Some of you like decimals. Some of you aren't writing this down, and that's a choice you have to live with. Some of you don't like fractions as much as you like decimals. What's 3/4 as a decimal?
I don't know. You got him
That's
like
not funny. Like, I don't know if you're trying to make a joke or if you genuinely think that, but, like, definitely not. That is not how conversion of fraction to decimal works. It sounds like you need some more practice before we get to mastery. 3/4, if we think of, like, a pizza or anything else, if you have 3/4 of it, what decimal or what percent, like, we can think in a few different ways. Or if you think money, if you have 3/4, it's 0.75, right? Or 75%. Now, wait a minute. Better. Wait, I didn't say better. I said there's more. There's options. This feels like what we did first, but worse. This feels like I'm going to set up 16 divide... No, I'm not asking you to do this. I'm not asking you to do this. I'm just like, that's what this feels like right now.
my brain hurts.
There's a better way. I'm never going to ask you to do something like this in your head or long divide. Because division with decimals is really, really tricky. Where does the decimal go over here? I mean, I've got a decimal here, but I've also got a decimal there. Guys, here is like the most critical part of today. You can, in a multiplication or division problem, remember multiplying and dividing are the same, okay, they're just inverses. The multiplying and dividing are the same. You can do whatever you want to the numbers using multiplication or division, just as long as you do it to both. So again, to say it again, because I teach middle school, we can, to the 16 and the 0.75, do multiplication or division, as long as we do it to both. Because, like, I could double both of these and then get 32 divided by 1.5, but that doesn't feel better. What would feel better is if I could somehow get this decimal to not be breaking up a number into a partial value. I want this decimal to come out here and like get out of the number. I would really like to make this 75. Donna, how could I do that?
Well, like, you could do 75 times 100 and have to do it to 16 as well.
So if I want to move this decimal 2 places, that is times 100. To move 2 decimal places, that's a times 100. So if I do it to the 0.75, we also do it to the 16. And we can now have 1600 I'm trying to figure out who's making noises because it's very distracting to me. It's coming from this side of the room. Just please stop. Now, am I arguing that this is better than our keep, change, flip method or the first method? No, but all of these options, and if we type this in our calculator, because I know sometimes y'all don't trust me, 1600 divided by 75, same exact thing as 16 divided by 0.75, same exact thing as 192 divided by 9. What I'm trying to get you guys to see is this was one problem. And we just did it 3 different ways, and all of them got to the same answer. If we want to be accurate, it's 21 and 1/3, or 21.3 repeating. But what I'm trying to tell you is sometimes just convert and do the math is best. Sometimes make it fractions and do keep, change, flip is the best. Sometimes pushing the decimal in both numbers, sometimes that's the best. There are options, and we have to think to choose what is best. Sam?
For the decimal one, can we just convert that to a fraction if it ever appears on homework?
Does it come out the same?
Yeah.
So can you? Yeah. Math gets more difficult to think about as you have more options because you just have to think. And honestly, that's harder than doing the math. Like making the decision is harder. Sloan used a giant 1 when he did this. So he set up his 16 divided by 0.75, this last one that we did. Sloan set that up, well, like at my high school, Sloan was a boy. So sorry, I don't know if they've written Sloan as a girl.
Yes, it says pronoun.
Okay, Sloan is a she here, but you know, in high school, Sloan was like our quarterback. So Sloan set up 16 divided by 0.75 vertically. But then there's a few different ways still to do this, but I'm trying to like pay attention to time and make sure we're going to get out of here on time. So what if I gave you, I know this is set up like long division, I'll fix it because I promised you guys. What if I gave you 16 divided by 0.5, and I already filled a piece of paper, guys. I'm already going to page 2 for today. 16 divided by 0.5. I want to know what you guys do with that problem, and there are multiple ways to do it. So 16 divided by 0.5. Up to you guys what you want to do. I want some different things from different groups, so take a couple minutes. How are you going to approach that problem? You cannot use a calculator.
I can do that.
Then if you get done with those, or that one, try these. You might use all sorts of different strategies for these different divisions. Shoes keep coming untied. I think I'm progressing at tying shoes.
Why?
Because they keep coming untied.
Can I tell you something? I didn't learn how to tie my shoes correctly until I was in like 3rd grade. I'm a bit of a late learner. Those kids that were like in kindergarten.
You can do whatever you want as long as you do it to both of the numbers. And it's multiplication or division. Oh, multiplication or division. You can do whatever. No. Like, that's why I'm like putting it up front and why we wrote that down together. The 16 divided by 0.5, like none of these are on your handout. Sorry, I needed space on your handout so you guys had space to do your homework. All right, well, it's pretty quiet, so it doesn't seem like we're talking to each other. So, Sophie, help me out with one option. And I went ahead and wrote down 4 different, places for me to do one option that we could do to make this easier. Sure. If we do times 10 with both numbers, times 10, times 10, that's going to bump the decimal 1 place. So that's going to give us 160 divided by 5. And actually, this will be easier for me to think about if I stack it. Do the vertical division. Because, guys, what number is nicer than 160? It's close to 160. It's nicer with 5. Guys, what if I think about this as 150 plus 10? How many 5s are in 150?
15.
Guys, cover the 0. How many 5s are in 15? 3. Put the 0 back on. We get 30. How many 5s are in 10? 2. So here we got 32. Sophia. Well, that was funny that your cards were next to each other. Give me a different what I could do. Because Sophie dealt with our decimal by doing times 10. There's also another way to deal with our decimal. All right, yeah, you guys were partners. Ashley, what did you guys think about doing? Yeah. Eli. Oh, wait, with fractions? Like, did you turn the 0.5 into a fraction? Oh, okay, well, that's a different way. So 16 divided by, what is 0.5 as a fraction? Well, if I say it right, it's 5/10, but that reduces to a half. You should be writing this down. Oh, yeah, 16 I can make into a fraction by going over 1. All right, so then when I have division of a fraction, what'd you do now, Eli? Keep, change, flip, then multiply. Oh, nice. Because now it's going to be 16 over 1 times 2 over 1. What do we get?
32 and
32. Boom, same answer. Safe. You got another way I could do? Bethany?
I did the fraction in decimal.
You know, I'll even just put it up to anybody who can tell me there is one, best way. As soon as you do one thing, you're done. We said we can do anything we want. Multiply or divide, right? Anything we want with both numbers. Come on. Think smaller. Guys, what if we multiply by 2?
So that makes that 1, and that makes that already.
It makes this 1! Guys, what's a number divided by 1? It's itself! How easy is this? Oh, he said the bad word. Guys, you can multiply by whatever you want. You don't have to do 10. We can just do times 2, and that turns into 1, and that's way better. If you do both of these numbers times 2, because we can do whatever we want as long as we're multiplying or dividing, 16 turns into 32. 0.5, the 5/10, doubled, turns into 1. And 32 divided by 1 sure feels E-word. Try these problems out. Try these problems out. I will scooch this up and put my screen small.
I can't see the bottom.
There's nothing below. Well, but start with A. 3 divided. Yeah, go ahead. 3 divided by 4. Just like dive and start talking. I'll probably give you guys like 5 minutes, then we can go over it for about 5 minutes. So just try each. Once you think you got the best way that you can come up with, move on to the next one. It's like 3 divided by 4. How would you do it?
I can get it in front.
Yeah, like on your graph paper. I mean, you might need a new page soon. And sometimes there's like not necessarily a better way.
I'm tired. Today was too long of a day. Is it Monday? It does. Because we got a day off.
I wish we were just gonna stay through.
I normally set up my division vertical.
And that's what I just did.
So, like, guys, these are the same, right? Depending on how you read divided by and what it looks like in your brain, these are the same, right? But that's where you're starting. Then B, I'm just trying to make sure we know what we're doing. B, you'll be writing down 1.5 divided by 0.25. But you could also write it down as 1.5, like, over top of division. 0.25.
But no, you say decimals on top and fractions are like.
They're called complex fractions, is what they're called.
Is it really complex?
Well, it's really what it's saying is it's more complicated. That's why they call them complex, is they're more complicated. Under the tables.
Guys, you know Hudson's gonna catch
I
you.
kind of ruined this. I don't care if you guys eat gum, just don't leave it under my table.
He has eagle
As long as it
eyes.
ends up in the trash can.
He has eagle eyes. Yeah.
Mr. Hudson?
Yeah.
What do you call it, like, when your fingernail starts turning completely white?
Not good.
I think that just has to do with like that you hit it on something or whatever. It's like a reaction. But I don't know. So I mean, ask your parent, ask a doctor, ask somebody smarter than me.
I have a question. Who's that lady in the background playing saxophone?
That is my niece who is marching in the USC marching band this year, and I am very proud of her because it's tough to get into a D1 band like that. And at Thanksgiving, we will be going to visit and see her like perform when USC plays off against Clemson, which is a big rivalry football game. So it's going to be intense. But back on math. Don't choke yourself. That's not a good thing.
Yeah, but it's
Please, and not in math class. There's a lot of paperwork if kids. All right. 3 divided by 4. This feels like a problem we've done a lot of times. Ooh, safe. You got me. I mean, you kind of passed on the last one, so sure. What'd you do?
Basically, 3 positive fractions. I made 3 over 1 whatever. And so I just keep change flip.
So wait, you did 3 over 1
And
divided by 4 over 1?
yeah.
Okay, and then you did keep change flip.
Yep. Yeah. And I crossed out the 2 ones because like those are already like
Okay.
brothers and stuff. And then I just did 3 times 4. Oh no, hold up, what?
Because if you cross out the 1s, if those cross reduce, we now have 3 on top, 4 on
Yeah.
bottom. And I feel like we got back to where we started, but that's okay. Sometimes we get back to where we started.
Oh.
Whoa.
So this is division. Be careful. I think you got tripped up somewhere. Guys, 3 divided by 4, unless does anyone have a better, I know what this is. I don't know if there's necessarily a better way. What is 3 out of 4? If you have 3 quarters, yeah, 75 hundredths or 0.75. I don't know that there's a better way on 3 divided by 4 because they're not really complicated numbers. Neither of them have a decimal involved. This might just be one that we try to get into our memory of 3/4 is 0.75. 75 hundredths. Now, B looked a little different. 1.5, 0.25. Kamal, what do you got for me on B? You did not do that one yet. Sam, did you do B yet?
I think so. So what I did, but I'm not sure if I got it right, but so what I did was I turned 1.5 into 1.5,
Okay.
and it keep change flip.
So wait, 1.5, but then did you keep it mixed or did you go improper?
I kept it mixed.
Okay. And then did you change 0.25 into a fraction?
Yeah, I changed it to 25 over 100, but then flipped it so it's 100 over 25. And then that
So then keep, change, flip. Now here's the problem. Now when I go to multiply, mixed numbers not as nice as an improper would be. So really, I need this mix, or sorry, I need this improper.
3 over 2.
Jane? So that's really 3 over 2 times 100 over 25. We get 300 over 50. Ooh, that's not bad. How many 50s are in 300? Well, how many 5s are in 30? 6. And hold up. Look up here.
Look it up.
300 divided by 50. Hold on. 300 divided by 50. But then I asked you guys 30 divided by 5. What did I do?
Took rid of the zeros.
I just divided them both by 10. When your teachers have been telling you, oh, you can cover this up, they cancel out, they're telling you, do the same thing to both numbers. Guys, you've been doing this. What you haven't been doing this with is more complicated, like, problems. Let's all write down H together. It feels really difficult, but trust me, let's all write down H together. Real quick, last problem I'm going to ask you to do.
Oh my goodness.
0.0015.
Big deal.
How many decimal places do we want to shift over? I see some people doing nothing. That's a choice you have to live with. 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to have to add an extra 0. Excuse me. So this becomes 150 divided by... Guys, what feels easier? 0.0015 divided by 0.00025 or 150 divided by 25? Like, come on. This is so much easier to think about. Because now I can say, all right, 150 divided by 25. I don't have to write it like this, but my brain likes it better. How many 25s in 100? Well, yeah, 4 and then 2 more. So, yeah, your final answer is 6. I was going to break it apart. All right, that is all the time we have, and it is 10:54. Those of you who weren't taking notes, I really hope you know what you're doing.
Shame on you.
I mean, not necessarily shame, but I just hope you know what you're doing.
Okay, well, guilt on you. Yeah, guilt. Your wife's name, her name is like Chelsea.
Chelsea, yeah.
Yeah.